Hello and welcome back to Cabincast Rambles with Oliver and Tan.
Hello.
We are back with episode 13 of Steven Universe Rambling.
Episode 13?
13.
Oof.
Yeah, we're doing the many of
Indeed.
these. We are here with season 2. We started off season 2 last time with Full Disclosure and Joyride primarily, but also we briefly touched on Love Letters.
Indeed.
Today we've got Reformed, the little We Are the Crystal Gems short bit that comes after that technically, and Sworn to the Sword, possibly Rising Tides, Crashing Skies. We'll see how time works out.
Indeed.
And stuff. But yeah, that's the plan. It's very warm, so Tan might leave for water.
Thanks.
Just in case people know that, and I then forget to cut those pauses out. Covering bases here. But yeah, to be fair, I should also probably do that and also drink more water. If it's warm, drink water, guys. That's your drink water announcement.
Hydrate.
Hydrate, yeah. So, episode.
Indeed. So, we start off with BuzzFeed quizzes.
You're right. I was very confused for like a few seconds there, and then remembered.
The BuzzFeed quiz isn't like super important, but it's sort of like a way of conveying what's going on.
Yeah.
It does. Steven's trying to get other people to do this is the old crying breakfast friends quiz.
Yeah, it's flipping weird, but yeah. Yeah, which crying breakfast friend are you? Answer these questions to find out.
Indeed.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Funnily enough, the camera pans to like Pearl when Steven's giving the example of a crying breakfast friend which is uptight and neurotic, and pans to Greg when the example is of
being a better role model.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I'd not noticed that before, but yeah, that's definitely intentional. Yeah.
Sadly, we don't get to know what personality sniffling croissant gets.
But they are fixing the van.
Yeah.
From when the van broke.
Exactly. Which was at some point.
Yes.
Presumably.
I was gonna say because it got broke with the Water Witch one and the other part of that, I think.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
That was a while ago.
Greg showed up at the very end of the episode, season 1.
Oh.
Did he crash it then or something?
Was it in Full Disclosure when he pumped up the volume so loudly the whole thing just like exploded?
Oh, it might have been. Yeah. It might have been that. Steven also broke himself out the window when he was like, "Stop the van!" So
a lot of things have happened to the van.
Yeah. So the van needs fixing. We get a little very appreciated, nice little bit of Greg Pearl bonding, which is the most we'll get for a while over not understanding what on earth that cartoon is. Which is cool.
Gotta relate to Greg sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't understand anything anymore.
Yeah.
So Steven runs up to Amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
In an attempt to make her do the quiz as well.
Yeah. She's looking for engine oil to eat in a sandwich, because Amethyst does what she wants.
And those are some of the questions that come up. they're all very. They're like the ones that you'd see on a personality type quiz, except even more sort of intrusive.
Intrusive and oddly specific, yeah. Yeah. So she's like, sure, I guess, because Steven's gonna be upset otherwise.
Everyone thinks it's a weird show.
Yeah.
But going into the temple, because she was sort of avoiding the questions.
Yeah.
And those questions were about sort of insecurity.
Insecurities, how you're
And
perceived
how
by
other
the people and
people judge you.
relationships and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. She tries to dodge the question. But Garnet's there.
Indeed.
And it turns out, bum, 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 it's the Slinker.
It is the Slinker.
Which is, I don't know what type of gem it is. I don't know if we see him in future. But that's okay.
Reminds me of the cockermouse from How I Met Your Mother.
I have no idea.
Yeah. It's just a thing where it's like there's this thing that is in one of the apartments. There's just like an infamous thing that's there, but no one ever sees. And it's like, oh, you saw the Slinker. You know, it's kind of just like, you know, the fact that Steven names it and it's like some kind of mythical beast or something. Which I suppose in a way it kind of is. But yeah. But Amethyst is like, this is not a thing.
Yeah, they seem to be disagreeing on whether it actually exists or not.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Garnet's like, well, it does exist, and we're still calling it the Slinker, I guess. So there we go. And you know, it's in Amethyst's room. So she's like, well, I'll look for it. And Garnet's like, well, you won't. So I'm gonna look for it.
Which is fair. True.
It is. And yeah, they start looking, and it seems like it's been here a while.
Indeed. But there's a lot of burrow holes from it all over the place. All very much underneath Amethyst stuff.
Then Amethyst finds like a gas mask with skull still in it. So
yeah.
Would you get that? Let's keep going.
She's still sort of I think so far Amethyst has not answered a single question seriously.
No, she answered the first two unseriously and then just asked what the right answer was for the one that confused her.
And the one after that was about getting defensive. And of course, in doing so, she, like, feigns defensiveness. I don't know if it was actual being defensive or was just acting.
I'm honestly not sure.
I don't know.
It's a joke, obviously, to us. It's winking at the camera. There's a way that she says things when she's being sarcastic that I don't think she is there. So I think she's just intentionally doing it because she is defensive about those things, and she's so defensive that she didn't even click that she was being defensive. That makes any degree of sense.
Maybe.
But they don't have time to dwell on that because
Indeed.
Garnet is chasing after and firing her rocket gauntlets at the Slinker. Maybe.
What might be the Slinker, but turns out not to be.
Yeah, it wasn't the Slinker.
Amethyst gets kind of mad because Garnet's, obliterating her things.
Yeah.
But
her favorite round thing was in there apparently.
but in doing so, she gets poofed by the Slinker,
Mm-hmm.
which is yeah, it's quite obviously bad for Amethyst, but also it's quite bad for Steven because, well, we know
Even doesn't do well
it's not
seeing gems
nice.
get poofed.
Yeah, even this
Yeah.
time he starts crying a little bit.
Yeah.
Much
I mean,
like
you
the
know,
breakfast friends.
yeah, it's Steven. You gotta stick to some of the things that you do.
I think this is the first time Amethyst is poofed on screen.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine she might have been poofed in The Return and Jailbreak.
I would
but we
assume
don't
so,
see it.
yeah, but we don't see it. She like changes her form a lot in the one where she changes her form a lot, but
In the one where she changes her form a lot?
what is it? The one where they need to go. Oh, she cracks her gem.
Yes.
This is the one where she changes her form a lot. The one where she cracks her gem, is kind of the only time when she doesn't poof, obviously, but the only time we really see any damage to her, I think, before now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there is a difference between changing your form and shapeshifting.
Yes.
As we've said, shapeshifting is something you can only hold for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Something that Amethyst does a lot.
Yes.
But of course, not for that long.
Indeed. Changing your form is more permanent.
It is something that you do when you reform.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, just like something else. Because you see Spinel has a different form. So either she like poofed at some point, or she changed her form.
Yeah. I don't know if like I mean, because like yeah, when you first see Spinel, and then when she comes back, like her whole, and we're jumping ahead through to the end of the show here and beyond, technically, but
Spoilers.
yeah,
But
spoilers. But her whole world view and everything is flipped and like I don't know, kicked to the curb,
it's like
kind of. So
it's like a poof, but it's
yeah,
not quite a poof.
it's not a it's gems don't seem to really understand emotions, even though they definitely have them. And yeah, it changes. You know, the spinel that you see at like the start and the spinel where she's angry because she's been betrayed are very different looking.
Indeed.
Obviously. Which is the thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like her gem actually like changes its like orientation, everything as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like she just shape changed because there was such a intrinsic change to her that it changed her form as well. Maybe that's how I would
makes
read
sense.
that, I guess.
Pink Diamond, like her gem shifted as well, and as she because presumably she's been sort of going back and forth. I imagine since she's a diamond, she can afford to shapeshift for longer, but I imagine that would have been like quite tricky having to stay as rose quartz for a certain length of time and then have to go back to being pink diamond.
Yeah, I reckon at first she maybe did that, but then pretty quickly she just became rose quartz.
Yeah, after shattering, quote unquote, pink diamond, I imagine
Exactly.
it could just reform as rose quartz and not have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. But that's the difference, and that's the difference. This is where we see sort of Garnet's perspective in that shapeshifting. It's all well and good having fun with that.
Yeah.
And Garnet knows Amethyst, has a lot of fun with shapeshifting.
Indeed.
But the form is more permanent, and so it needs to be something a bit more serious.
Yeah, it's very important to you. It's not something to muck about with. But this is Amethyst we're talking about, so
Yeah.
so yeah, she's gonna muck about with it.
Amethyst comes up really quickly. Like, even Garnet's surprised at how quickly.
Yeah, like she expected her to come back quick, but this was very quick.
Presumably, when you reform, you have to like go through what you're going to look like, because Amethyst messed up at some point.
Yes.
Because she just got feet instead of hands and a big ear.
Yeah, it's not quite what she's meant to look like. Or
Yeah,
did
she
look
didn't
like.
expect it.
No. She did not. But again, Stephen obviously does not grasp why this is like an issue.
Yeah, of course. It's not really
and of
been
course,
a big issue.
And then of course Amethyst just goes straight into that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll be back for Stephen. That's all. It's all good. I'm fine.
Yeah, she doesn't really want to think about
that
sort of thing.
And
but
she kind of hobbles off, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Stephen kind of asks her, well, not asks, but he's like interested,
Yeah.
Stephen's just like, oh man, that's cool. Why don't you tell me more about it? And she gets a bit annoyed at it. I guess because she didn't put that much thought into it. She's like, well, I don't really like these probing questions.
Yeah.
She doesn't want her decisions to be judged, I guess.
It's literally doing what the questions asked her.
Yeah.
She deflected the initial comments to be like, yeah, I wanted to come back for Stephen. So Stephen's like, oh, cool. She intended to do this form. And then now he's asking questions about that. She's getting defensive about it because it's actually something that she is now insecure in.
Yeah, it goes... Amethyst in this one goes very quickly from joking about to not joking and being serious.
Because it's all very personal to her.
Yeah.
So it comes up to Garnet to explain to Stephen why Amethyst should have taken a bit longer.
Yes.
But then Stephen unintentionally kind of goes and puts his foot in it.
Yes.
By comparing her to Pearl.
Which she doesn't want, obviously.
She does not want. And yeah, it didn't go over well with Amethyst.
Yeah, she kind of takes the whole thing out of context. The obviously, the bit that was important was taking more time, but the bit that Amethyst heard and internalized was like Pearl.
Like Pearl. Pearl is better, yeah. Because again, uncomfortable with those around you, that you're being that you're being judged, all that kind of stuff. Things that she is uncomfortable about. And yeah.
And then she gets boosted again.
She does, because again, she's just not really paying attention.
Yep. And
Slinker's pretty dangerous, and Garnet's like, this is good. She can spend some more time. She can come back better. Spoke too soon.
Doesn't. Does not take a long time.
Looking like a Pearl, but it's very stupid.
It's a bit silly, isn't it? But it's quite funny.
It's very funny. The hair is incredibly ridiculous. She makes it so long and pointy.
Indeed, it's like a sort of oversized exaggeration of Pearl. And
her feet are... There's something wrong with her feet.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it almost seems like she ran out. Like she made the bow and the hair so ridiculously big. It came through the shoes, and there's just like squiggles.
Yeah, they're like if you've not put socks on entirely.
Yeah, exactly. And again, she's doing the whole, "Oh, I'm more like Pearl. Isn't that what you wanted?" And again, that's not what they were saying.
Yeah, she does a good Pearl impression.
Yeah.
She I guess does a good Pearl impression as like she
it's
does
a
a sort of
pretty,
exaggerated
it's a
impression of
pretty,
what she thinks Pearl is like.
yeah, it's a pretty great exaggerated Pearl impression. But again, she took the point completely out of context, and Steven still doesn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not something he's really grasped yet.
Indeed.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
He's like 13. It's not too much of a problem.
No. But again, he asks her a couple more questions, and she answers them very Pearl-like, and Steven's like, "Wow, you're really doing the method acting thing. Next time, can you come back as me?" Which, is not what Amethyst wants to hear, because again, he has completely missed the point.
Garnet kind of, I don't even know what the word is, criticizes Amethyst for a choice. And Amethyst, like, at first goes like, can't you take a joke? And then Garnet says that she looks ridiculous, and then Amethyst suddenly doesn't think it's a joke either. It goes straight from jokey to serious. And it's that kind of thing which one might see from someone who is struggling.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because again, she created this form because the others mentioned Pearl. She's like, "Well, fine, I'll do Pearl then," because that's just to be ridiculous. I'm not Pearl, I'm Amethyst and all that stuff. And then Steven's like, "Oh, it's so cool," and that's not what she wants to hear. She wants to hear, "Oh, well, you're much better as Amethyst," because she wants to be Amethyst. She doesn't want to be Pearl, obviously. But as soon as it comes to just insulting her form, it's like it feels like, it's Garnet making a personal attack against Amethyst, which isn't the point. Garnet's trying to be supportive, and just doesn't always word things perfectly. And so suddenly Amethyst's like, "What? This is ridiculous. No, it's not. I chose this form and I love it. And I'm going to defend it now." Because again, she's like, "You wanted me to be more like Pearl, and now I am." And that was not the point.
Indeed.
And
so there's a bit where Amethyst is like, "Well, it's my form is my own business."
Indeed.
And then Garnet says, "Well, when it affects the strength of the team, it's everyone's business."
Yeah.
Which, Garnet is being perhaps a little too...
She's being very blunt
about it, maybe.
Which is Garnet's way.
It is Garnet's way. Although with Steven, she's sort of... she's gotten used to the fact that he needs to learn a lot of things, but I guess she's still assuming that gems are more set in their ways, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Amethyst is like, in a lot of ways, like a kid, but not being treated like one.
Mm-hmm.
And by that I mean like being treated as if
she's treated as if she should know better, and she should already have quote unquote all the answers. Because obviously Edwards don't have all the answers, but thought to have, and it's treated like she is one of them. When she is, granted, while still very old, much younger.
Yes.
In comparison. and has had no one but these people. So she hasn't really had a chance to, learn these things like the others did with all of Gem's society or anything.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah.
treating someone like an adult, which
Mm-hmm.
is with respect, but then there's like the other way of doing it, which is just sort of assuming that they already know everything, which is kind of the wrong way in this case.
Indeed. And yeah, Amethyst is very angry. She gets grabbed by the Slinker again. But it's sort of shouting, being like, "What are you be?"
Yeah, Amethyst misconstrues her statement as saying that Amethyst isn't strong, and that is, of course, quite a sore point of Amethyst, as we will see later. We catch a sort of a tiny glimpse of it in the return when Jasper calls her a runt, an overcooked runt, but
it'll come back when we get best character.
We don't really know her self-worth issues when it comes to strength just yet.
No, we do not. Not yet. But we will get there. But yeah, again, misses the point, explodes. And then literally explodes or poofs. And Steven grabs the gem and it's like, is it weird? I'm getting numb to this. Which it's happened so many times, to be fair. No, Steven, it's not really.
Yeah, that's the third time.
Yeah.
It's and then immediately, like even faster.
Faster again.
But it's like really, like every time she reforms, we get the same music.
Yeah.
But this time it's like really, it doesn't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And Steven's like kind of scared.
Yeah, and even she's like, I wasn't sure at first, but I'm coming around on it, which again is her deflecting.
Mm.
Like,
Steven's really worried.
Yeah. And Amethyst's again uncomfortable and immediately deflects onto speaking to Garnet when Steve does not give her the answer she wants.
Once?
Hmm?
You said once and then...
Oh, I must have cut out. That's neat.
Oh.
I don't remember what context I said once in. I know, I figured it out. Once, Stevens, seems concerned, she immediately deflects like that, or just ignores it, basically, and starts speaking to Garnet instead. To, again, just ignore the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to move on. And then Garnet's like, what are you doing? This is not sustainable. Which is interesting because clearly gems can be whatever shape they like, but they do have size limitations. They have a power limit almost.
Yeah, seems like it. So if she tried to, get more muscly,
yeah,
and it would only work on half.
Yeah, she's trying to be as big as Garnet, basically, which is a fusion. If you think about Ruby and Sapphire, they're similar, maybe a little bit smaller than Amethyst.
Yeah.
So they combine and they're almost twice the size. She's now trying to do that all by herself. There's not enough mass to go around. Same with when she made the massive bow and the massive hair and everything, I guess, before, and that's why her feet were so small.
Yeah, and of course that doesn't, not for shape-shifting, because she can turn into Purple Puma just fine for a small amount of time.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things that when it's it's like you've got some plasticine or something, and you've got a certain amount to mold your shape with. And then you put that on a piece of paper, and then you can draw other things around that and rub them out often, and you can do that a bit, but the main plasticine part, there's only so much you can do.
That makes sense.
In a way, take that out of context, people will be like, what on earth does that mean? But yeah, that's a lot of what we words we're saying, to be fair. So, but yeah,
yeah,
not sustainable.
not sustainable. Very much so. It's because if she tried to, as we could see, when she tries to sort of fight the slinker,
Mm-hmm.
the muscles like they don't look healthy, and eventually they just sort of give up, and her arm turns into spaghetti, like a spinel, like it when she was cracked.
Yes. Exactly. And we probably see the slinker though.
Yeah, we do. It looks like a lad. I don't know. It looks like a thing.
Like a kind of flowery vine creature thing, yeah.
Yeah. Don't know what kind of gem it is, but I guess.
No.
Garnet says, I don't want this. And Amethyst reverts to, well, tell me what you want and I'll do that.
Yeah,
and obviously
she's just
that's
trying to please them, and again, it's like that's not the point.
Exactly. It's about
you and what's best for you.
Yeah, it's about your own choices.
Indeed. And that's what Garnet was trying to tell her the whole time. Garnet wasn't saying it particularly well, and she kept just exploding at the first thing she heard each time.
Yeah, it wasn't that well explained the whole time.
No, exactly.
To be honest.
Yeah. Garnet's not the best at speaking.
No.
And Amethyst is not the best at listening.
No.
And it's a very tense situation, so... And there's a Stephen.
And there is a Stephen who is not helping that much.
Yeah, predominantly makes things worse, unfortunately. For now.
Stephen saying, like, oh, she doesn't want to think about herself is, I guess, his deduction about the whole thing, which is also, true.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm not sure that's the right words to be using in that situation.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Amethyst gets poofed again.
She does get poofed again. But, they managed to get the gem back. They finally had the slinker out in the open. They punch it away.
Yeah.
And she doesn't come back.
Not for a long time.
4 whole hours.
not quite as long as Pearl, but it's still a while.
Indeed. It's still a while.
But the form that she chose this time is pretty much similar, except that the shoulder strap is.
Did you say font?
What?
Sounded like you said font instead of form.
Whoop! I might have said that.
I mean, the
Comic
Sans still works. Yeah.
Oh well, it's pretty much similar, but with the shoulder strap fixed.
Yeah, it's really weird for me because I know Amethyst changes her form a few times, but as soon as I see the new one, I cannot remember what she looked like before.
That's understandable.
I'll see the new one and be like, "Yep, this is what she always looked like, isn't it?" Well, it's not.
You got to get up some comparisons.
Yeah, I should do that. She goes through all the forms that she previously did.
Yeah.
Settling on her new one, which is something she does in later as well, I think.
They all go through all their forms in the movie.
In the movie, that's what I'm talking about.
When they remember. See, those forms are now like a permanent part.
It is a permanent part of them. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why it's something that they should take seriously, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So on a according to the wiki, her first form had purple top and black bottoms, and then after that it was a black top with purple bottoms.
Yeah, mixing it up a little.
And then white top and black bottoms after that.
I guess.
Bam. They are quite similar, so it's understandable.
Yeah, I think that's it as well. Yeah. You've got like the young kid Amethyst one with the shorter hair that you see in the flashbacks.
That's also true.
And the Amethyst from the like weird like pilot thing that they did looks actually pretty similar to the first Amethyst we get, just in a much more creepy art style. And then she goes from having the. To be fair, I think all it actually really is she slightly changes the color of her like trouser things and removes the like baggy top that she had over her black top. So that looks pretty similar. Yeah. She comes back.
Finally.
And immediately it's just like, what is it? There's nothing going on. And Steven again, despite being present for this whole like change and everything, still doesn't get it, and he's like, "Oh, you barely changed." It's like that's not the point, Steven.
Yeah, he doesn't quite get it, but that's okay.
No, he doesn't. Amethyst finally got it, and that's what counts at this moment in time.
Interestingly, like when they go to hug her, she like brushes them off, because she's trying to be more serious, I guess.
Indeed.
No, we gotta find the slinker, obviously.
Indeed.
But she's sort of outwardly, she's like, hugs, ugh. And then inwardly, she's like, yeah,
exactly.
As we see, like right at the end, because she smiles.
Indeed.
Which is, I guess, another part of her sort of suppressing her inward emotions in order to make people like her more, I guess.
Yeah. And Pearl just seems happy because the shoulder strap's fixed. I'm sure she's actually happy, but
So this isn't like the whole character arc.
No.
As we can see.
Indeed.
She's still basing a lot of her value on how other people think of her, but it's progress, and that's one of the things I really like about this show is that characters they're
not magically fixed immediately.
Yeah, don't grow immediately. It's like with mindful education, That's an episode which is in season 4. We'll get back later.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the criticism to Future was like, well, Steven should be okay because of mindful education, right? But
no, that's not how any
of
it works.
Takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
And it didn't really fix him entirely, that episode. But that's not the one we're talking about right now.
No.
And I can't wait to get to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a really good one.
Yeah. But before that, we've
actually, there is something about mindful education which I want to say now. And that is that I wish the butterfly symbolism was used more often. Because I think it is just that episode. Because having butterflies symbolize like those kinds of thoughts would have been really cool to have earlier and later.
Yeah. Maybe Rebecca Sugar was like, she did that episode, and I was like, it's pretty cool. We should do them often. And then she watched a bunch of anime. I was like, oh my gosh, there's butterflies and everything. We shouldn't do that.
Is that a thing?
It's just weirdly coincidental that we're watching Steins Gate, which is coming out now on the channel. You can see it on Friday. And then now we've got onto another show, which I said to you, but we haven't revealed yet.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think. So I won't say it just yet. I'm sure Tom will accidentally mention it at some point soon, so I doubt it'll be too long. But but yeah, and both of them have butterflies in the intro.
Oh.
I was like, it kind of makes sense as to why they do, but still, it's just a thing. It's like, what are the odds of that?
Huh, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I forgot about that, but that would have been cool to see again. Actually, yeah, but we don't. So, oh yeah, that's in Here Comes the Thought, which is beautiful. But yeah, we can't talk about that. Next up, we have a little short thingy.
Is the short? It's true. This one's good.
Yeah.
So this is where the new intro comes in.
Yeah.
And I've watched this.
Okay.
I've watched this one a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of different languages for some reason.
Huh.
I like watching the Norwegian version.
I haven't found that, but you are more Norwegian than me, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is because I'm not Norwegian at all.
The guy who voices Stephen is much too old to be voicing Stephen in that one.
Right.
Because he tries to do a high-pitched voice and just can't do it. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Fair.
It's funny though.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so this is a short.
Indeed.
Which is the We Are the Crystal Gems short.
Are you looking for it?
Yes.
So it starts off when Stephen's very young.
Mm-hmm.
And they're building the house.
Yeah, the front of the temple.
Yeah. Because I think Greg and the Gems thought it's probably best if he moves in now.
Yeah.
He lives in a van, and he's probably not going to. He's probably not going to find a house, as it were, for a long time.
No.
So the best idea is probably to build one.
Yep. Checks
Would
out.
have been nice if Greg had moved in with them, but I understand that there were some tensions.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of cute to see Stephen quite shy around them.
It is. This is adorable, and he's very adorable. It's like toddler Stephen.
Small Stephen before he became permanently the same age.
Indeed.
But all the gems are very they're understanding.
Yes, they're understanding. We get some different designs again.
Indeed.
Pearl is still in like ballerina Pearl. Amethyst is pretty similar, but the strap is off. She's not got a strap. She's got a top that goes like over her shoulders, and then the same black like vest top underneath. So it's again for Amethyst, everything's always very similar.
Yeah, according to, I think it was Garnet in one of the episodes, like Amethyst is pretty much always getting poofed and reforming. So
yeah, that makes sense.
The form is changing a lot, it seems.
Yeah.
And that's just what happened.
Yeah, and then Garnet looks pretty similar actually.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
yeah.
actually very different, but yeah, they go over to Stephen. He seems a bit awkward. Greg gives them a water, which Amethyst pours all over herself and then eats.
Yep.
There's Amethyst. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they are like slightly awkward around him too, but
yeah,
they start. It starts the classic song. that Stephen wrote for them.
He wrote to them, which it's one of those funny things. Like when you hear it in the intro, you're just like, "Yep, this is the whole song. That makes perfect sense." And then you hear the whole song, and you're like, "Of course, it's not the whole song. This is the whole song. That makes more sense." Same within in Adventure Time, they finally did the whole song in like the very last episode.
Oh, that's a good ending for it.
It was incredible. It was so good. But yeah, or like occasionally other shows, like where they've got an intro, which is like, because often, you know, like with like cartoons and stuff, the start of it, like the first like what am I trying to say? The first verse of a song will be like the intro, and like that's you're like, well, you know, there's the rest of the song. But sometimes it's when they're like, you know, a cut in the middle or something, that it's more interesting to like find the full version and be like, oh, so this is how the whole thing goes. So very slight musical tangent there, but
we do get the sort of reprise in the final episode of Steven Universe as well.
True, you're right.
And that's quite a nice scene.
Yeah, you're right. That is a great moment. But here we have the thing where, you know, Steven's like a bit shy about playing, even though it's probably all he's been, you know, talking about for ages, which is a very like toddler age thing to do. And then they're like, yeah, we'll listen for sure, and we'll like it even if it's bad. But I was like, shush. But it's like, yeah, that's parenting. But I mean, he's got his dad's piano. He's got his dad's just music making this, because it's definitely not bad.
Yeah, and the other, like, Stephen obviously writes the first bit, and then the gems sort of continue on. They've been sort of writing it together, which is nice.
Yeah, it's cute.
And we don't get like too much sort of information here, but it's sort of interesting to hear their own perspectives.
Yeah.
So we see like the bit about where they're aliens that come from space and then sort of liked the Earth, so they stayed to protect it. But of course, the "I will fight" bit is the interesting bit.
Yeah.
Here, my Garnet's like, you know, rights. I want rights to be a lesbian fusion. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Pearl's still fighting for Rose, even though Stephen is here instead of her, which I guess, you know, Pearl's devoting her entire life to Rose, I suppose.
In the end, she never left her side.
Yeah, so sad.
This is going to Future again very quick. Not Future, the film.
The film. Again, we've done a lot of
song. We've done a lot of this today. That song at the start, where they do like a quick recap of each character.
Yeah.
Like Amethyst's is, you know, really positive. You know, it's like, you know, it starts sad, but you know, it's positive by the end. And Garnet's is kind of the same. Pearl's is just sad.
Pearl's is so sad.
Pearl's just ends with, and in the end, it seems I never left her side.
And after love and loss and all the tears that I cried, I find that.
Exactly. It's just like sadness. Oh, here we are now. Sad all the time.
After all the sad things, I guess we're here. Oh well. Yeah. Might as well enjoy it.
Recently, and was just like, oh.
Amethyst's like, I live here and I was born here, so bam.
Yeah.
Which I guess is, you know, she's not like super. Which she's not as much into the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, she came out after. So it's like, well, I'm doing this now.
Yep. Anyway.
And Stephen's one is the most interesting because
that's true.
He's fighting to be everything that everyone wants him to be when he's grown. He's not fighting for himself.
No.
He's fighting for others. And
this is things that we will talk about
Indeed. And you
We get
see
there.
Rose Quartz, the picture of Rose Quartz,
Yeah.
sort of holding him in a way in the background, but she's like sort of holding him as if he were like a puppet or something. And we see those signature, because she always has, every time she's shown, she always has a shade in front of her eyes. And if you know anything about anime, that means she's hiding something.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's always been there.
You're right. The signs were there.
The signs were there.
So yeah, back to the short. One thing before we move on with it, like Steven's like got a plaster and he's missing a tooth.
When did that happen?
When did that happen? Because I was like, oh, it probably just fell out. I'm like, no, he's not old enough yet to have his baby teeth falling out. So that's not a great start, Greg, to be honest. But he, clearly gets more back, so it's fine in the end.
Was it a gem monster?
Yeah. But yeah, so then it does like a future, like a montage to the future it's the near future when he moves in, like you were saying.
I went straight on with the lyrics and forgot all about that. Oh, that's okay. I hope.
That's all right.
Unless I'm going to get censored.
And
for speaking the truth.
Pearl's like first that she sings. Yeah, this might just be pure coincidence, but the tune, the melody of it is vaguely like "Let Us Adore You" again from the film. Interesting.
It's in the same key.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's not that different. You're right.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a coincidence or not.
It may well be. But yeah, and then they do this running montage.
The foreshadowing was there.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
Oh, the running bit's good.
Where you see everything that's happened, and Steven then disappears, and then he comes back, and he's at the front now because he's not useless.
Yeah, because he sort of falls behind.
Yeah.
And then, that's sort of a bit of positive symbolism.
Yeah, and then we do the bit that you were talking about.
Yep. I got a bit ahead of myself there.
So you wanted to get to the Garner bit. I understand that. So.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And it's got some great harmony stuff. It's really good.
Yes, especially when the enemies come up.
We get the Shadow of Yellow Diamond and Jasper and Lapis, who is we're not sure what she is. And
she's a gem.
She's a gem. She's not an enemy, but she's there. And Peridot, who is not going to be an enemy much longer, but still looks menacing here for the moment. She's also. Oh yeah, no, she does still have limb enhancers. I was about to say she's not got those, but no, she does still have those. I love how much taller and like just menacing she looks. Knowing what she's like, it makes her so much more adorable to me. Anyway,
like 2 episodes after, in like keeping it together, she's like
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. She does get away then, but it's
indeed
the first like hints of what she's really like. Yeah. Or what she becomes like after being stuck on Earth for a few days. Using it.
It makes it look as it, absolutely.
But yeah, so yeah, you got that, you get the enemy like silhouette things, it's great, you get some harmonies, and then it just jumps straight into the new intro. So smoothly, it's so good.
Yeah, the only difference,
they made this bit now, and anyway, sorry, you were saying.
The only difference there is that they have a little pause between.
Yeah, there's a very brief pause.
And are the crystal gems in the actual intro. And then I don't think Greg talks in the actual intro, but he does in the song.
Ooh.
Because he goes, believe in.
I think he does that. Does
he do that in the intro too?
I thought so, but I might be making it up. But anyway, we can find out in the next episode, which is Sworn to the Sword.
Sworn to the Sword.
We just had it was an Amethyst episode, but it largely featured Garnet and Steven. So now we get our other main gem character and
Bonnie.
And our other main human who's not Greg character,
Carl.
Bonnie. Damn it. But yeah, Pearl and Connie.
Indeed. And a bit of Stephen, but
And Stephen's obviously always there. Except when he's not, but he's mostly there. But this is their episode. It's very directly. At first, it seems Connie's episode. It's actually Pearl's episode.
yeah.
And it's still kind of Stephen's episode because it relates to Rose Quartz, which is him, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's Garnet who says it in the intro. On this time. At least that time. Maybe it changes. That's something to look out for, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, Stephen being scarred for life. Does that count, do you think, last time with Amethyst being puffed, or?
I think so.
Yeah. Like, you just get numb to it, but the first couple of times are still...
I mean, getting numb to it is not really what you want.
No.
Oh, yeah. What about the others? I don't think we had any others in that one. Definitely didn't see any trains.
No, there's no Greg train. There's no Greg trauma.
No Greg train.
Lars learning a lesson, kind of slightly, perhaps, maybe, and there was no train Chan. So yeah, a later episode with Amethyst.
Ooh.
The train again. I can't quite remember, but
it's always exciting when you see the train.
It's pretty great. So, yeah, Sworn to the Sword.
Sworn to the Sword. Start off with the jam song.
We do.
They're jamming.
They are jamming. It's a fun pun, I suppose.
Yeah. I wish Michael Jackson's jam was like this.
Yeah, it's, you got Connie and Stephen playing their ukulele and violin. Which,
Indeed.
Yeah. It's pretty cute. Again.
It is.
Like most of their interactions.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And they are singing about actual jam while jamming.
While jamming. Gosh, it's so good.
It's, yeah.
But then, dun, 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 the mightiest enemy they have faced thus far appears.
The seagull.
Seagulls. We
are well aware of the threat after fighting them for 5 years during secondary school.
They gave us
many friends, but that's...
They gave us plenty of litter for litter duty, I guess, though. I love they stole it.
Yeah. They were... I mean, seagulls is like a colloquial term, because you get them in wherever there's food to be had, not just at the sea.
That's true.
Because we were not by the sea. Like, we're not too far from the sea. But you're closer to the sea now. I'm not.
Seagulls have migrated inland, and it's terrifying. Terns, on the other hand, you don't see many of them inland.
True. That's true. Yeah. But no. I guess one of the things is, so, like, an hour inland, which is about where Horsham is.
Well, spoilers.
We've already said that.
All right. Okay. That's fine.
So it's fine. Or where Sussex is, yeah, it doesn't particularly matter. An hour's not that far. It seems far to us if you're in, like, Europe or in America or Canada. Like,
that's
being
true.
that close is like that's the ocean is on your doorstep. So whereas for us, the ocean being on your doorstep is literally living where the ocean's on your doorstep. Because realistically, you never are more than a few hours away. Because we're on a tiny little island. Anyway, back to the episode. The seagulls, they attack, but Connie fends them off with her bow.
Yeah. As in, like, a violin bow.
And gets a bit into it, maybe, I don't know, but it's cool. Run back to your masters. Tell them we're not afraid of your kind.
We see Connie's sort of natural talent at sword fighting.
Yeah.
And that's where we get to. Bam.
Steven has an idea.
I go to Pearl.
Go to Pearl!
Because Pearl tried to train Steven to sword fight, didn't go so well.
Didn't go so well, but Connie...
Yeah.
Again, Steven not really understanding the connotations or the implications this might have. Ha! Yes, I missed that. Yeah, Steven's still on his one-track mind at this point. She seemed like she'd be good at sword fighting. Pearl knows how to do sword fighting. You should teach her. He's matching two things together. He's not thinking Connie then knows how to sword fight. That means that she could help us fight. That means she could get her. Yeah, he's not going that far.
He's not thinking about that. He just sort of wants her to have a cool trick to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And Connie gives an impassioned speech, which does 99 psychic damage to Pearl.
It's exactly what Pearl needs to hear.
Yeah.
Because it speaks. I mean, it's very sweet on Connie's part, but yeah, Pearl's face is just hilarious. But it's also pretty much exactly how she would have felt, right? When she was first with Pink Diamond / Rose Quartz, she was a pearl. Pearls were not supposed to be, anything important or powerful or anything. And then from the flashbacks, we know that Pearl was gems were terrified of the rogue Pearl that was Pearl.
Yeah.
She really did put everything into protecting Rose Quartz and protecting Earth. So this is definitely going to speak to her when it does. So
Indeed.
They go to somewhere.
Indeed, they go to the ruins.
The ruins. Have we? Yes, we've been here before. That's when Pearl got poofed, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Indeed. So it's, interesting
how
this happens immediately after. Yeah, she gets stabbed.
Is that there?
Right?
I don't remember.
When she's training and her hollow pearl stabs her. Is it here? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I think it might be, but...
This is where Steven and Amethyst fight. I know that one.
Yes, it's definitely where they fight.
And it's where Stevonnie fights.
Yeah, lots of very important things happen.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was in Steven Swordfighter. I imagine it is.
There's also very clearly 4 diamonds.
On there, isn't there 3?
There's 4.
There's 4.
There's 4. There's a white one, a blue one, a yellow one, and a broken pink one.
Oh, the fourth one's broken. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Foreshadowing.
Yeah. On the outside, there's like a square which has all 4 of them in, but then there's actually like 4 of them floating. One's broken. So yeah, it's some interesting stuff when we're watching.
There's so much foreshadowing. It's great.
It's so good.
Like the whole thing is there's diamonds everywhere.
Yeah.
Like even sort of the light reflections form diamonds, and it's like
Yeah. Yeah. How about that?
Pearl sort of immediately gets the wrong impression.
Yeah.
When Connie says she wants to fight by Steven's side, Pearl seems to think that it's like, you want to be completely like your entire existence is for Steven, do you? Well, have I got the training regimen to you?
Brave, selfless, loyal. Right. Yeah. Which is kind of some elements of being a knight, I suppose. Yeah. Brave, selfless, loyal. Sure. Yeah.
Now, interestingly, immediately, when the Hollow Pearl comes back,
Indeed.
Stephen immediately forms a bubble without knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Because he is. It's it's like a trauma reaction of what happened.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah,
oh, I don't like. This is a situation. It's sort of a reflex, but it's like this is a situation in which bad things have happened.
yeah,
Not only is the Hollow Pearl stabbed by Mum, it's also tried to attack me multiple times.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, bubble time.
yeah.
He kind of wants to just get away from there.
Mm-hmm.
Which
And
he does.
again, should potentially start to make him realize, hey, this is potentially dangerous for Connie. Actually, but not just yet. He's gonna go and
he doesn't
sit
really
over there.
understand. I guess he understands a bit how dangerous.
Yeah.
Because of full disclosure.
Indeed.
But I guess since she said, she wants to be a part of his universe, he's like, well,
Yeah.
that's fine then. Well, hey, everything. Bam. Let's do it.
And then we get another song.
We do indeed. This is a great song.
Montage. And it's a great song, and it's another... I mean, it's a Pearl song, so... It's a very sad song.
Yeah.
They gave you the jam one at the start to make up for it. This is what you get. It's...
Starts off, we got some good advice. Stance wide, yeah. Knees bent, exactly. Stay balanced. Bam, this is just like real martial arts.
It is. Which Tan knows much about.
Yeah, I've done sword fighting before.
I mean, that's not the martial art I was going to talk about, but I figured maybe, but yeah.
I did it as part of it, sometimes.
Makes sense. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were just wooden. But,
Yeah. Oh, yes. Of course.
I mean, not all of them were, but the ones I used were.
Yeah.
Were. That's the word.
That's the
I'm
word.
looking for.
Yeah. But yeah, it starts off, pretty like, yeah, cool, nice. Though there are a few times where Pearl slips up and says you'll do it for her, that is to say,
yeah,
do it for him, because again, she's relating this to exactly how it was for her and Rose Quartz.
Indeed.
But as the song goes on.
Indeed. Stephen's like starting to get a little bit worried.
Yeah. But yeah, Sondi is getting better and better.
Exactly.
And then, Connie sings a bit. And it's pretty great. But yeah, Pearl's getting very into it.
Indeed.
And Pearl's been like, oh, don't you want Stephen to not die?
We get
try harder.
Stephen's like, oh geez, what have I done?
Yep.
And we get story time.
Yeah.
In which
Indeed.
Pearl talks about life on the battlefield.
On the battlefield, when everything is chaos, and you have nothing but the way you feel, your strategy, and a sword. You think about the life you have together after the war.
Yeah, she's doing it just, because of her love for Rose, and because she wants to live with Rose, and that's sad because that didn't really
never happen. Yeah. And again, she was, like, Rose would probably been okay in the like hollow pearl, image thing that she shares, but she still, dives in and probably gets poofed.
Yes, we don't actually see it.
We don't see it, but
we just see her diving in, and then it ends, and it's like, it's kind of interesting in which, that's not the full story though, is it?
Yeah. I mean,
we see the full story a bit later.
We do, yes.
But that part is a sort of heroic telling of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, yeah. This is what that alludes to, but we're not properly there yet.
Exactly.
But
and then we get the next bit, which I don't think we know that pearls are supposed to be servants yet.
We do not. We do not.
So when Pearl says, "You weren't built for fighting," but that doesn't mean you're not prepared to try.
Again, this is about both of them.
This is about both of them. I
and
guess
in fact,
we don't.
In some ways, more Pearl than Connie. Because
yeah,
she
I guess
was literally not built for fighting, whereas Connie is a human. Humans have evolved, so
humans have adaptability.
She might not be a prodigy, but she will, much easier be able to do something like this than a Pearl would be learning it in theory. Which you see because Connie, I mean, we don't know how much time has passed, but Connie seems to have picked it up all very quickly.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean you're not prepared to try. What they don't know is your real advantage. When you live for someone, you're prepared to die.
That's the advantage, all right. When you're... That's... If you want to get good at sword fighting, just destroy your self-worth. That's fine.
Yeah, and I mean... Yeah, and Connie... You know, her views seem to align with it at this moment in time anyway. With, deep down I know that I'm just a human, but I know I can draw my sword and fight. With my short existence, I mean, sure, but I can make a difference. I can be there for him. I can be his knight. I can do it for him. Yeah, and Stephen through this has just been kind of like, I'm not so sure about this now.
Yeah. She sort of, she kneels before him as well. Which is like... Yeah, I mean, that's the submission start. So it's like,
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And Steven's not super comfortable with that.
Yeah. And again, like we've got Connie, she's in like actual better
she changed her clothes.
Sword fighting. She's taken off her glasses, which I mean, she didn't need them anyway. Her hands are wrapped up because she's getting, swords in it and everything from holding a sword. She's tied her hair up. And while she's singing this, actually, the shot it's got of Pearl is kind of ominous as well.
Yeah. Shadows over the eyes.
It's the rose quartz shadow, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It just shows that it's not the right perspective to be taking there. Isn't it, Connie? Hey, just stop.
Yeah.
But then after the song ends, it cuts to Connie is pretty much like kind of we've seen her over time as she's sort of like started ignoring Stephen and his wills in favor of doing what she thinks Stephen wants.
Yeah.
Which is what Pearl thinks Stephen wants.
Yeah.
And we see it because she's like, first she's excited to, do these things with Stephen. And then she ends up by sort of refusing the drink and just sort of walking past him.
Yeah. Exactly.
And just sort of ignoring him when he wants to talk.
Yeah. I love that he's then got a book of how to talk to people. Step 1, think of what you want to say. Step 2, say it.
It's a long book for just those 2 steps.
It does look much longer.
I wish that worked.
And again, yeah, she's going to be an asset to you. No, that's not what Stephen wanted, nor what they should want.
Yeah. They're actually going to train. Stephen's not even going to be there.
He's not
which
even
I
going to
guess
be
is
there.
just, emblematic of what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been
Then
ignoring.
we get Garnet and
Amethyst.
Yeah, and it's nice to see some like continuity from last episode. I guess kind of they seem to be having a good time.
Yeah, I wonder whether they ever caught Slinker.
Yeah. Do we ever see about the Slink again? I don't remember.
I don't know.
If not, I'm gonna just headcanon it that Garnet and the Amethyst worked together and they found the Slinker and they bubbled it and it was all good.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're doing now.
Yeah, maybe. And then Amethyst is laughing at something Garnet said, which is very surprising. It seems to be like they're getting well. And then Amethyst is like, "Hi, Stephen," and then just starts shouting. Why are you standing there all sad?
Yeah. So Stephen explains the situation.
He does.
Pearl's kind of getting a bit too much into it.
Yeah.
And kind of explains it.
Yeah.
In that Pearl, in a lot of ways, like, risked her chattering, but, like, that was something that she was really proud of.
Yeah. It was more important than her.
Yeah, and of course that's not the lesson that Stephen wants Connie to be learning.
Like, are there situations like where you have to accept that something is bigger than you? Yes. But like this isn't about like this wasn't about the revolution itself. This was specifically about Rose Quartz.
Yeah.
And it's now specifically about Connie protecting Stephen. Which isn't the point. Like it's not I might die, but our movement will live on and we will defend the earth and it'll all be good. Because obviously all the gems who became crystal gems and rebelled were aware of that. No, it's a given once you decide to do that, and most of them did pay the price for it. But for Pearl, it's beyond that. It is just, I will do whatever it takes to protect Rose Quartz again and again and again, because afterwards we will be together, and it'll all be okay.
Yeah. Obviously, getting food doesn't really matter so much for.
It's a different story when you can be crushed by an axe, crushed by a flail, zapped by Zeus. Not actually Zeus, but it kind of looks like lightning, so and just come back from it. And then he sees like the same scenario, but with Connie, and obviously she can't come back from that.
Yeah.
That's proofing his death for human.
Stephen runs over, and we get that confirmed. Pearl is trying to teach Connie that she doesn't matter, and it begins, and clouds have covered the whole battle, so they don't know.
Yeah, because as he gets there, the worst part of it is kind of conferred, because Pearl says, "In the heat of battle, Stephen is what matters. You don't matter."
Exactly.
And that's just like not what Stephen wants.
Yeah, Stephen tries to look for Connie.
He does.
Instead, a hollow Pearl goes and attacks him.
Oh yeah.
And she tries to protect him from that by, attacking it and destroying it.
Yeah.
And he tries to talk her out of it, but she's sort of internalized that worthlessness.
She's like,
But
I
Stephen,
understand your legacy and everything. It's super important. So, if I can help you with that, that's bigger. That's something bigger than me. That's more important.
yeah, but Stephen explains that they should be doing it together. It's easier together.
Yeah.
And when things go bad for one, then the other should be there to lift them up. And that should go both ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and beyond that too, again, very early stages, but even at this point, to me, it feels like, they have some degree of feelings for each other. And if you've got a relationship where one person is essentially a servant of the other, even willingly, that's not going to work. You've got to be on an equal footing with each other, because otherwise it's just, a bit awkward, at the
Yeah.
very least. Which is, again, kind of what you have with Pearl and Rose Quartz. And I mean, obviously, in the end, that doesn't work out. But anyway, yes, they show a dance, by which, oh no, a jam. They show a jam, and the Hollow Pearl attacks, and Stephen can defend with shield, which he makes bigger.
Which he does make bigger.
Voluntarily, which I think is one of the first time we see proper control of his powers.
Yeah.
I mean, he can make the shield pretty easily at this point, but like big shield at least.
Big shield. And of course, it's easier when you've got two people.
And it's easier when you've got two people. Yeah, exactly.
But Pearl comes over.
Yeah. And she's like, no.
She got to do this herself. Don't interfere.
Yeah.
And so they attack Pearl.
Yeah.
Through the method of confusion.
And he's the biscuit, and that makes us jam, which is not how that works. Like, jam is still just the preserved part, it's not the biscuit. Also, calling it a biscuit is still very strange.
What is an American biscuit?
Like a scone, I think.
Ah, but without raisins.
I guess. I mean, you can have scones without raisins, Tan.
Yeah, but why would you?
I mean...
Unless it's a cheese scone, in which case that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Except for unless you're lactose intolerant, like you are.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Although, knowing most lactose intolerant people, probably just eat it anyway.
Me and Jack are not the same. But then
I've seen you have them sometimes. Like,
I mean, again, it's a difference with what I have probably being a hypersensitivity or something, whereas Jack being intolerance. So Jack, if he's careful, can take a tablet for his things and just eat it anyway.
right.
Whereas for me, when I was younger, if I'd have milk, it'd be very bad. It would affect the eczema that I have. I'd get super bad rashes and everything. My eczema was terrible already, and I wouldn't be able to breathe properly.
It's not what you want.
That was neat. So it was much more a thing for me of, I'm not gonna have milk because that's the mistake. I don't know that I could die, but I could maybe die. That would be bad. So I just didn't have any, so I grew out of it. If you can have a tablet for it to get rid of it, you just eat it anyway, and occasionally deal with the repercussions and never grow out of it.
Oh boy.
There you go. And also, it turns out lactose intolerant is probably actually the base state for what humans should be. And then there was a genetic mutation at some point, which meant a lot of people are no longer lactose intolerant.
Heck yeah.
Because, lactose is from animals, and kind of weird to drink animal milk when you think about it too much. But anyway, that's like a massive tangent that we don't need. Connie and... We got it from Jam and Biscuit. Wow. Okay, Connie and Stephen fight together, and like you said, they are just doing confusion.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work because Pearl still obliterates them.
yeah, like Pearl should. It would have been a bit like of a disservice to Pearl if they had somehow beaten her.
Yeah.
Would have been a bit like, come on. She said thousands of years of practice. Connie might be a fast learner, but she's not Pearl good. But it's some pretty nice stuff. They like a spin round and Stephen blocks with a shield.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. And then Pearl slides behind. Connie slides behind. And then Stephen also charges the shield, that's a mistake. You don't both charge at the same person.
Yeah, I mean, she defeats both of them.
We don't see what Pearl does, but assumedly she disarms them both. Which is probably very impressive to see.
Yeah.
But very hard to animate, so...
And, well, she chastises Connie because she says Stephen's not going to be there, but Stephen disagrees. Stephen wants to be there.
Yeah.
He wants to be there so that they can protect each other, so it's not just one way.
Mm-hmm.
Pearl says that Stephen's too important for that, and Stephen disagrees that he's not important. And unfortunately, that is kind of where Stephen's kind of self-sacrificing tendencies come in, because he does that a lot. Yes. And it is unfortunate.
Stephen is... I mean, this is one of those difficult moments where it's like, what Stephen is saying in the moment is good, obviously.
Yeah.
Is he right? No. No, because for a start, he is honestly probably too important. Like, as much as he doesn't want to be important, which again is, what he spends a lot of his future grappling with. He doesn't want to be the new Pink Diamond and everything, but he is. That's just a fact.
Like, even when it was just Rose Quartz.
Yeah, true.
In, like, Lion 4, he's like, well, shouldn't I have some kind of magical destiny?
Yeah, good point.
But he doesn't. Rose just wanted him to be Stephen.
Rose just wanted him to be Stephen. Other gems meant that couldn't happen.
Yeah. It's very sad.
He has a magical destiny, whether he liked it or not. Which is that's the whole hero's journey thing. That's kind of how it works a lot of the time. It's the hero doesn't want to be the hero. But yeah, so Stephen's like, no, I will always be there. Which again, it's a tall order, Stephen, but he seemed to have made that work out so far. So good job, I guess.
And Pearl slips up her true intentions.
She does. Because again, she still does kind of see Stephen as Rose.
In some ways.
Still just wants to protect him. Was that intentional? Did I set it up? You don't know. But yeah. But then it's out of the bag now. And she kind of tries to fix it, but she knows that
she realizes. And Connie asks whether Rose made her feel like she was nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, she says, definitely not. She made me feel like I was everything, but
yeah,
I don't know. She never left Rose's side, on Pink Diamond's side, after being her Pearl, her personal servant, who literally is nothing in comparison.
Yeah. So the fact that she paid any attention to her at all was enough, at least at first, probably, to make her think that she was everything. And again, with the benefit of hindsight to what she did to Spinel.
But it's not true, though, is it? Because she wasn't everything, because of all the, all the other men that Rose got with, including Greg.
Other men. She had other pearls.
She had other pearls. She had Pink Pearl.
She had a Pink Pearl. She had a spinel. She probably had a whole colony of humans and yeah.
Well, yeah, like in It's Over, isn't it? She was like, Pearl alludes to the fact that Rose has been in a lot of relationships with humans.
Yes.
And Pearl was like broadly okay with that.
I was fine with the men who would come into your life now and again. I was fine because I knew they didn't really matter until you. Yeah. Yep, exactly. So, but again, she thought like, oh, it's fine. They don't matter. I matter. What we have matters. What we have is special.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And on that great note,
yeah,
that's where Sworn to the Sword ends.
Yeah, Connie manages. No, Pearl manages to pull herself together, and it's like, well, you clearly care about each other very much, so you'll both be great knights, and you'll be there for each other. And Stephen's got a lot of catching up, and she starts just rambling about stuff, and it's great, and it's a positive note to end on. But it's again, when you know the whole story with Pearl and everything, it's just sad.
Yeah, it's not everything, but it's a step forward again.
Exactly. And that's all you can do.
Exactly. But that was Sworn to the Sword.
And that is where
are there any bits in that one?
Any bits in that one?
There's no train.
There's no train, there's no Greg. I don't think Stephen's ever traumatized. I think he's concerned, but
Stephen doesn't get traumatized, but he does show that he's had it.
Yeah, exactly. He shows his trauma.
Yeah. But, so I think that's okay.
Yeah, so nothing here like that.
Yeah.
But it's another great episode.
Indeed.
And we'll be back next time with
Rising Tides, Crashing Skies.
Yeah.
Keeping it together.
And
we need to talk.
And probably we need to talk.
I don't remember which one that one is.
I can't. I thought I did, and then I said it, and then I was like, "You have no idea what this is, you idiot! What are you doing?"
Maybe chilited.
We need to talk.
Because Cry for Help.
Oh yes. No, we need to talk. It's so great. It's about Greg talking to them about how he learned about fusion from his time with Rose.
Oh, it's Greg and Rose. Oh, okay.
Such a good episode. Okay, I was like, I know the name of this episode. I know it's a good episode. I don't remember what this episode is at all.
It's the name. It does not.
The name. I mean, it does make sense, but it doesn't relate particularly well.
Indeed.
Yeah,
oh, that's exciting. I gotta say.
Well, we might get to that one next time.
We might do.
But
of course, Cry for Help and Keystone Motel are like two that you really want to have in the same episode. So
I mean, we've also got Chilted or Chili Tide. Yeah, before those. So true. I see what you mean. We'll see how it goes. But until then, unless Tan's got any final points.
No, I don't think I do.
Then we will leave this one here. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cabincast. For more episodes, go to www.cabincast.podbean.com or use the Podbean app. You can now also find us on iTunes and Pocket Casts under Cabincast and on YouTube. The uploads here are quite kind. Finally, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Cabincast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.